Hello everybody, how are you? It's Yasmin here. Oh, I've still got my chanting beads on. For those of you who missed out on getting the chanting beads, yay, we're getting some more from India. We've been given kind permission, which is great. So how is everybody today? Hope you're all really well. I'm live on Facebook and on Instagram. I've fixed up my Instagram and I can be here on Instagram. Thank you for the beautiful comments yesterday about the broadcast on Instagram. Everyone was very happy to see me, apparently. Can't imagine why, but there you go. Okay, self-deprecation. Why do we do it? Anyway, so a couple of things before I get into today's topic. Today's topic is going to be all about the waning cycle. And the question I've asked is, what is the point of the waning cycle? What's the point of it? But before I do that, I just want to remind you that my free 7-day Moonology Manifesting Challenge is coming up starting on Sunday, March the 7th. So if you haven't signed up yet, there is a link above or below or to the side, depending on where you're watching. And I'll give you the short link because on Instagram I can't give you links. It's you can use this if you're on Facebook as well. www.moonmessages.com/MMC for Moonology Manifesting Challenge. So it's moonmessages.com/MMC. So it's free. It's going to be amazing, I hope. We've created 7 gorgeous PDFs to help you work through the 7 days of the challenge, which I'm really excited about. And every day we're actually going to work with the lunar cycle, the end of the lunar cycle, in the lead up to the new moon, which is when we make our wishes. And one thing I always say is that while people get really, really excited about making new moon wishes, they maybe don't realize, or they often don't realize, that in fact it's kind of the work you do from full moon through the waning cycle that we're in right now. That's what really matters. That's what really is going to influence your new moon wishes, how good they are, how powerful they are. So that's why I've said in the Moonology Manifesting Challenge, like if you click on the link, you'll see the page. And I'm pretty sure that somewhere there it says, make wishes that work. Make wishes that work. And, you know, whether you want to call them wishes or intentions or commitments you're making to yourself, doesn't matter what you want to call them. The idea is that you can start to shape your reality. And this is what I'm going to go into in the challenge. But just in a nutshell, it's the little things you do every day, especially kind of at the new moon, the quarter moons, and the full moon. They are how you help yourself to shape your reality, okay? And a lot of it's about self-belief. So what is the point of the waning cycle? What's the point of it? The point is that during the waning cycle, which is when the moon is growing smaller every night, okay, so if you look up the moon tonight and the moon tomorrow night and the night after, you'll see it appears to be shrinking every night. And that's because actually at the new moon it will disappear altogether, which is to do with the angle of the sun and the moon and the sun and all sorts of astronomical things. But what it actually represents sort of symbolically, energetically, or in terms of moonology, is the fact that it's time to shed, it's time to let go of upsets, okay? So just say you've had an upset with someone this month and it's really affected you. So what we do at this point in the cycle is we release it, we let it go, because as they say, apparently Buddha says this, although I'm not quite clear if Buddha said this or Pema Hedron said this. Or is that how you say her name? Pema Hedron? Pema Chodron? I don't know. She's an amazing writer, apparently. She wrote this amazing quote. Some people say it's her and some people say it's Buddha. Sorry, I can't look it up right now. Those of you who know her work, maybe you could write her name in the comments. Either she said this or Buddha said this. I'm not clear on who said this, but the quote is, staying angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I mean, honestly, nothing sums it up better. And, you know, because of what I do, because of my, you know, my work, which doesn't feel like work most of the time, you know, I keep an eye out on things about, you know, forgiveness and intentions and commitments and wishes and all that. And one thing I've seen more and more lately is people talking about the power of forgiveness. And I saw something by Louise Hay the other day when I was researching affirmations for my new deck of oracle cards, which is really exciting. I handed them in. I should tell you about that later. She was saying that basically forgiveness is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself, especially forgiving yourself, but forgiving other people as well. And just understanding that, you know, maybe someone was just having a really bad day, if you had a kind of a butted heads thing with them, or maybe they're just having a really difficult life, you know, or maybe they just weren't raised the same way as you, or maybe they're not as blessed as you are, so you're coming from a better space and you've got less SHIT to get through, or whatever. And, you know, it's not meant to sound condescending. It's meant to sound like, you know what, I don't really know what's going on in that person's life. I've learned some lessons. You know, what lessons have you learned by the upset? There's always going to be lessons. And then, you know, even whatever the case, just forgive and move on. Forgive and move on. And we do active full moon forgiveness at the full moon. And that's why we do it. But we also do it. We do it for a few reasons. One, because, you know, why the heck not? Like, we might as well, like, we don't want to drink poison and expect the other person to die. And also because, you know, forgiving ourselves or someone else, which is really a theme of the entire waning cycle, is very much, you know, it basically gives us an energetic clear out, you know, like you just don't want to be filled with rage. And a lot of people who've been through something absolutely hideous, you know, some people go through, you know, touch wood, some people go through things that are just almost beyond comprehension that's perpetrated by another person. And you know, very understandably, some of those people say, well, I can't forgive that person for what they did. You know, and that's completely understandable. And you know, eventually there comes a point where, you know, being angry is better than being in despair. You know, that's something that Abraham Hicks have taught over the years with their emotional guidance system. You know, at the bottom, basically, of the emotional guidance system is despair. And that's where you feel like there's nothing you can do. It's just hopeless, you know, and that's a really difficult place to be. And in terms of manifesting, it's one of the most powerless places to be. And they have this thing called the emotional guidance system where, you know, rock bottom, I think, is despair. Maybe rock bottom's hate, but, you know, despair is really down there. And or maybe fear, I'm not sure, I'd have to look it up. But basically all those feelings, hate, fear, despair, jealousy, resentment, all those negative things, which is exactly what we let go of at the full moon and in the waning cycle, and then particularly at the dark moon. All those things are going to keep us stuck. You know, they keep us stuck in the situation that we're in. They keep us stuck in the reality that we're in. They keep the problem alive in our heart, because as long as you're constantly, you know, thinking, oh, I want to do this, I'm going to get them back by doing that. Oh, I can't believe they said this. I can't believe that. Oh, I wish I'd said this. All that kind of negative SHIT, that just keeps us stuck in the situation. So how good a manifester do you think you're going to be if what you're putting out is a whole lot of SHIT? And I'm sorry that I spell it. My lovely old friend Hamish always teases me about spelling swear words, but I just do. Sorry about that. I'm sure there's loads of people you can find who actually swear if you want to swear. I actually do swear, but I just don't feel it's appropriate to swear on a Facebook Live or an Instagram Live. Anyway, so, you know, all that stuff, all that SHIT basically clogs you up, okay? And remember the law of, well, two laws really. The law of vibration which is kind of like the master law. I was reading about this the other day in The Astonishing Power of Emotions by Abraham Hicks. They actually put the law of vibration at the top, and then under that, sort of like a subcategory, is the law of attraction. And the reason why they do that is because basically we create with our vibration, we create, and our thoughts and our feelings create our vibrations. You know, and you have to be an equal vibration for whatever you want. So unless you want to bring in more upset, more dramas, more resentment, more jealousies, more arguments, you don't want to be radiating that. So that's why in the waning cycle, we shed. It's what is falling away. What are you releasing? What are you letting go? You know, can you get to a place of compassion and understanding that the other person did the best they could under the circumstances? You know, so now if for people who've been through something absolutely horrendous, you know, I mean, the thing that comes to mind, this is not the most horrendous thing that can happen, obviously, but the thing that came to mind for me when I started to think about this now was the Pope. Remember, the Pope got shot. I think he was in his Pope-mobile somewhere, going somewhere, and I think it was Italy, and I think someone stepped out of the crowds and had a gun and took aim at him and shot him. I'm not sure where he was shot, maybe in his shoulder or something. And, you know, the really big thing, the big headlines a few days later were the pontiff saying, I forgive him, you know. And that's what spiritual people do. Like, whatever you think of the Catholic Church, and I think a few things about the Catholic Church, if you can get to a place of forgiveness, you know, it changes everything. Even if it doesn't make, this is something really important to know, it doesn't mean that what happened was right. It doesn't mean that the Pope thought it was okay for people to go around shooting him or anyone else while they're, you know, walking down the street or cruising around in their Pope-mobile. It doesn't mean that. It means he just decided to say, you know what, I forgive him. You know, and in some ways you can almost take the point of, you know, there was a lesson for me at some point, you know, on some level before I came here to this planet. I made an agreement with this person that they would do such and such to me so I could learn these lessons, which I've been refusing to learn. You know, you can think of it all kinds of ways, but it doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you've decided to stop drinking poison, you know, and you want to, like, take control of your life. And that is essentially what we do in the waning cycle. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in the Moonology Manifesting Challenge a lot every day at the different points. We'll be starting at the quarter moon, we'll go to the balsamic moon, we'll go to the dark moon, and then we'll make our new moon wishes together. And you'll see how much more powerful your wishes are once you've actually done the emotional work. So it's free. The link is above, or moonmessages.com/MMC, moonmessages.com/MMC. And I would love to see you there. So far, we have about 10,000 people signed up. And we have, I think we've got 50 places. We've allowed 50 places in our VIP section, which you will be offered after you sign up for free, which means you'll get a, it's not one-on-one, but it's one to a small group on Zoom of about 50 people, I think. I'm not sure of the actual number, but we've got about, I think, I don't know, 35 VIPs. So if you want to be a VIP, just take up that offer, and and you'll be able to ask me questions on Zoom afterwards. And, you know, basically, if you've got any questions, you want to go in deeper, we'll have a good half hour after each session to chit chat. All right. So on that note, who would like a card? Who would like a card? Ooh. Okay. Let's get our daily card. Let's get our daily card. Are you ready? So think of your question. What is your question? What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Sorry, I suppose I'm not allowed to make fun accents like that. I was born in Germany, so I think I'm allowed to do a fun German accent. All right. Okay. All right. This is the card. What do you want? Here's what you got to do. And actually, this is another thing to do in the waning cycle. Very appropriate. Work through your fears. It's the work through your fears card. All right, so work through your fears. Work through your fears. That's the message for you today. Whatever you want, work through your fears. And, you know, maybe you're scared about manifesting because, you know, you don't want to be, you're scared to know that, you know, you have this sort of power in your life. It's not just me that says this, by the way. This stuff dates back to, you know, the emerald tablets allegedly written by Hermes Trismegistus a bazillion years ago. So this is nothing new. This is just us reconnecting with our powers to do this kind of stuff, you know, and it basically comes from our thought processes. So why do you need to work through your fears? Because your fears hold you back. Why do you think that wise man said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself? Because fear derails us, you know, because it's basically focusing on what you don't want. And when you're manifesting, you have to focus on what you do want, not on what you don't want. Here's a little example just before I go, okay? You know, if you are looking for something on Google and you're actually looking for something, you're actually looking for a product that doesn't have something. So just say, for example, if you wanted to get some sunscreen that didn't have methylparaben in it. I don't even know if sunscreen has methylparaben in it, but that's something we try and avoid in this house. So if you put into Google, sunscreen, methylparaben, okay, what are you going to get? You're going to get loads of results that give you sunscreen that's got methylparaben in it. You know, if you put in methylparaben free, you're still probably going to get lots of sunscreens with methylparaben in it. That's maybe not the best example. This example often comes to me when I'm looking on the internet for something, and I think this is such a good analogy for what the universe hears. You know, it's not about, oh, I have to say the words exactly right. It's about the feeling. And if you're focusing on methylparaben, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get methylparaben. If you're focusing on your fears, that's what you're going to get, more SHIT to fear. So there ends my Moonology rant for the day. Work through your fears. And join me on the Moonology Manifesting Challenge. It could change your life. And also, if you've joined up and you haven't signed up for the Facebook group yet, sign up because it's happening. It's the Moonology Manifesting Challenge Facebook group, and you'll be invited to join it once you register. But you have to register. If you don't register, then you won't go into the sort of the system that gets all the worksheets, gets access to the group. You kind of need to sign up properly, but make sure you sign up for the Facebook group as well if you haven't already done so. 10,000 plus people already in there. Mwah! Lots of love, and I'll see ya tomorrow.